This is the point where you really start thinking about the structure of your game and build a construction plan that you will be using as a design pattern from start to finish. Try to think of your game scene as Earth, the entire planet. It'll be very hard to do anything with the individual components of the Earth without a way to keep it organized and break it down into smaller units. For example, if you were to move all vehicles currently driving, that could be a fairly complex and temperamental algorithm, and you would have to slot in all the logic with everything else in the world. I know this is probably a confusing scenario, but picture this now. If all the roads were treated as a layer, then you could tell all of the road's child assets, the vehicles, that they need to do something. Have a look at this picture. It is made using a Mac app called MindNode Pro. I use this app for the presentation so it looks neat, but I normally do something similar to this on a whiteboard so that it's easy to change and experiment with. To run you through what you have here, at the highest level, you have a game as a whole. You may wish to break this down differently, but on the next level, I have the activities running, which you can see, the view. I also have the invisible background activities, the singletons. If the term singleton is new to you, think of it as a way to retain variables and allow functions to be called in the background no matter where you are in the application. If you have a function in a scene, then that scene will have to be currently in use in order to run that function. Whereas in a singleton, you can have lots of functions which are available from the beginning of the app to the end of the app. You could be doing whatever you want, but as long as a singleton is active, it is able to do things. In Game Center, you might receive notifications like game invites. You can be watching for these notifications all the time. In the Asset Manager class, I preload data which I can use from anywhere else in the application. If you want to know a bit more about how this works, I suggest looking up pointers in object-oriented programming. A pointer is pretty much a reference in the programming language that points to a position in the memory. If this Asset Manager class is active, then it is strongly pointing to this preloaded data. If nothing is pointed at data, then this memory is lost. It may mean that that memory is being released so that it can be reused, or it's just no longer referenced. Moving under the SKView level, you can see all of the scenes in the game. It will start with a standard introducer scene. This will display a logo and set up the background data. When it is complete, it will transition to the main menu. From there, it will take you to the character selection screen, then a level select screen, and then to the actual game world. In the game world, there will be layers. And these will handle the background and the tile layers. We talk about tile maps and tile layers very soon. Just think of it as the actual terrain your character will be progressing through in the game. The tile map will also contain the player and projectiles. And then we have a post screen so that when the level is complete, it will transition the character to there to say if they completed the level or if they failed. This here will act as our template when constructing the layers. It's quite simple in this case, but on larger projects you'll be happy you planned it out in this way, as it can get a lot more complex. However you decide to do it, having a roadmap to move forward with is essential for creating good games.